Howdy. Just do a sound check before we go crack on with tonight, 'cause it's going to be a doozy. Get the sound check in. Sound check. Just waiting for YouTube sound check. Sound check. Yep, looking good. We'll get started on the hour when Twitter's ready, because that's the really oddball one. I think that's sent. Let me check. What about while we wait for Twitter to play catch up and stuff? What about you guys? How are you guys doing out there? How's your night going so far? Feel like it's been a bit of a funny old week, but as is life. You having a good week so far in the chat? Let us know. We're starting in a few minutes when Twitter catches up, so give a shout out, reach out, let's hear what you're talking about. Tonight we're going to be going through, we're going to be starting, because we didn't start it last time, we're on module 8 of Boot.dev, so we have got through some really lengthy ones, like especially like learn to code Python at the beginning. It was pretty long. Functional programming was quite long, and there was some tricky parts in it as well. So this next one, build a static site generator in Python. I have no idea what's going to come out of this one at all. I haven't looked at it. You can see I've got no progress. So I've not looked at any of the things there. Then data structures and algorithms will be after that. That's a long one as well. Probably the longest one we've done so far, apart from learning to code in Python. But I think in terms of like difficulty level, the Python one was pretty straightforward and easy. So that was not too bad to sort of like just get through. And then there's another project one, guided project one after the data structures one, and then we get into memory management in C, which would be really interesting because I've never done C before. So that'll be really interesting to do. And then more personal projects, Go. I'm looking forward to this because I want to do more stuff in Go. I want to build things in Go. And then we get back to things like SQL, blog aggregator and Go, a lot of stuff around Go, Docker, and then the sort of these things get a little bit smaller. I guess maybe the capstone project is going to be a bigger thing to do, and then we'll have done the core stuff on the platform, and then I guess we can tackle the extra things like all this stuff. Learn JavaScript. The heck? Learn JavaScript? What does that mean? But yeah. Build a web crawler. Learn cryptography and Go. Yeah. Some good stuff. So we'll cook. It's April and we got through it's near the end of April now and stuff. We got through 7, so is that on track? I think so. So it's been 4 months. We got through 7. How many do we need to do per month to get through everything? So we've got 12 months and so it's basically like two a month. So we might actually be a little bit behind in a way. Yeah, to get it done within the year, but it ain't a challenge if you know you can do it. So we'll just have to make sure we focus on this. Yeah. Well, it's 8 o'clock now, so I'm going to hit the button for Twitter, see if Twitter's woken up yet, and if it has, then we'll get cracking. So look, has Twitter woken up yet? Yes, it has. Happy days. Just check the broadcast is working. It looks like it is, but I always check anyway. Yeah, here we are. We're live on Twitter, so let's get grooving. Like I said, if you're in chat, shout out, reach out, let us know if you're having fun. But today, we move. We are clearing back-end developer career path, static site generator in Python, chapter 1, static sites. And this is going to be interesting because if I'm going to need some more kind of local setup for this, that's fine. But the Linux setup is new. I haven't really done any full development in yet, so we'll probably run into some humps and bumps with that. But we'll figure that out as we go. So let's go. Start the learning. Build a static site generator in Python. Build a static site generator from scratch, similar to Jekyll, Hugo, or Gatsby in Python. 10 hours of content, 28 addicting lessons, and certificate completion. Learn online at your own pace. So that, of course, what we'll learn. Static sites. Learn about how a static site is and start building functionality necessary to process and move static HTML and Markdown files. Nodes. Build the core HTML generation logic that power your static site generator using recursion and object-oriented programming to build an easily understandable and maintainable system. Inline. Build an inline Markdown parsing logic and the logic to generate inline HTML elements. Blocks. Handle entire blocks and Markdown, generate HTML nodes that represent them. Website. Put the entire static generator together and publish your first website. Woohoo! Yeah, and then accolades. So let's start the course. A little bit nervous for this one, to be honest. Off we go. So build a static site generator. Let's build a static site generator from scratch. Check out this live demo of what you'll build in this course. But you won't just build this site, you'll build the tool that builds this site. It's pretty meta. You'll also deploy yours to a live URL on the internet, just like mine. What is a static site generator? So a static site generator takes raw content files like markdown images and turns them into a static website, a mix of HTML and CSS. So there's markdown, bibbidi boop, pop it out like that. Static sites are very popular in the real world for blogs and other content heavy websites because they're lightning fast, secure, and easy to host. For example, the Boot.dev blog is a production level static site generated with Hugo. Statics versus dynamic sites. A static site is what it sounds like, static. The content is always the same. Users cannot upload files, log in, leave comments, save preferences. You would need a dynamic site for that stuff, which is usually powered by a database and a custom web server. Static sites are great for blogs, portfolios, landing pages, documentation. Assignment. We'll be using the Boot.dev CLI to run and submit the test for CLI test for some of the lessons in this project. Make sure you have it installed. I might need to do that again because of a fresh machine, so I'll just pull that up. Run and submit the CLI test. The test just to ensure the CLI is installed and configured correctly. So let's pull up a new thing, and we'll just pull up a new terminal. Let's have a look where we are. CD. Have I got a place for development stuff? No, it doesn't look like I've got anything for what's a good directory thing for things to be in. I also realize I'm probably going to have no Git set up. I've not totally finished my machine, so documents. I'll just make a new one. So mkdir development. Yes, development cd development. Gosh, so it's going to be empty. I'm just going to run it out of curiosity, but it's obviously not going to be complete. Whoops. Oh no. Yep, so that's fine. We'll get it all installed. We're going to need a directory for this. We'll find out. mkdir boot.dev cd boots.dev. Okay, we'll go back. So this CLI. So option 1, go 1.22 or later installer. I'll just use this as the way to install it. Machine. Log into CLI. So step install the. Hold on. Use the Webby install. It's the simplest way for most people. Just run this in your terminal. All right. Okay. I already have Golang, so I'll just see install the bootdev.cli. So I'll run that and just see what it does. Command go not found, but can be installed with either sudo sudo apt get install Golang go. Did I not have that as part of my setup stuff? Hold on. Let's restart that. Hold on, you guys are not looking at this. Get away. Hold on, let me try that again. Oh wait. Hold on. Nope. Cancel that. Not that. Alright, got it. Alright. Did I not have Go installed? Huh. So Go version. Huh. Wonder if this never worked then. Update that. I misfigure out this. Keep pressing the wrong button. Hmm. Why haven't I got Go then? Go. Let's run this. Okay. Not sure why that didn't work, but anyway. Whoops. Keep doing that. Okay. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, we did that, we got go. And then do that. So boot dev login. Was it reload? What's the thing for reloading? CLI reload. Reset? Let me just have a look at how do you path? So we did that, go install that. If you get a command not found error in Boot.dev, most likely the directory containing Boot.dev program isn't in your path. You need to add directory to your path by modifying your shell's configuration file. You probably need to add go bin the default go bin directory here, blah blah blah. I've got go in my path. Boot dev dash version. Not there. So installed correctly, right? What version am I on? Go version. Yeah, so wildly up to date, up to date. I installed it here, is it? So where did it install it? Ensure goes toolchain's bin directory. Okay, which go? Okay, so let's slash user local go bin go. Toolchain's bin directory. So bin. There's nothing in there apart from these two. Where did it install it then? If I run that again. Hmm. There's only one place where go comes from. User local. And then echo path. So user local go bin, yeah? Reset. That's all we need to do, maybe. So if I do boot.dev version, boot.dev command not found. Hmm. If you're getting a command not found error for boot.dev help, it's most likely because the directory containing boot.dev program isn't in your path. You need to add the directory to your path by modifying your shell's configuration. You probably need to add a home go bin, the default go bin directory where go programs are installed into your path. Oh, so that's different. So, right. So if I say ls slash tilde slash, and what was it? Go bin. Right, there it is. Okay. Right. So hold on. Do I have a again. Boot.dev command not found. Export path is path home pull bin. There we go. Alright, so I've got that. Boot.dev login. Boot.dev login. Please navigate to Boot.dev CLI login. Oh, that was quick. Doing the other thing. And then I guess I'm not really bothered about the colours. Let me just check that this runs now. So paste that. Yay, Boot.dev CLI is ready. Huzzah. Right, we've got everything working now. So now we can actually crack on. Job 1 done. Bingo. Right, so how many lessons we got? Chapter 1, static sites, nodes, inline blocks, website. So HTML, CSS, Markdown, cheat sheet, architecture. Okay, so let's see how we do this. So the primary, God, that was a long time coming, guys, wasn't it? Yeah. What a struggle. But we sorted it out now, so we're cracking on with the content. It looks like bread. Bread. The primary output of a static site generates HTML, hypertext markup language, because HTML contains all the content of a web page. HTML is a simple language for structuring content. It's not a programming language in the sense that it does not have variables, loops, or conditionals. Python, C++, PHP, Java, C#, HTML. I love that. Little cat looks like a bread. HTML is a way to format text, images, links, and other media so that a web browser can render in a GUI. Here's a simple HTML file. Yeah, we all know this. Why front-end development sucks. Front-end development is the worst. Look, front-end development is for script kiddies and soy devs who can't handle the real programming. I mean, it's just a bunch of divs and spans, right? In CSS, it's like, oh, I want this to be red, but not that red. What a joke. Real programmers code, not silly markup languages. They code on Arch Linux, not Mac OS, and certainly not Windows. They use Vim, not VS Code. They use C, not HTML. Come to a Boot.dev backend where the real programming happens. HTML is a tree-like structure where each tag P, the bits enclosed in the angle brackets, can contain other tags. And the whole thing is enclosed in an outermost HTML tag. Let's break down the structure of this HTML file. HTML is the root element of the document. Head contains metadata about the document. Anything in the head is not rendered visibly in the browser window. Title is the title of the document, which displays in the browser tab. Body contains the content of the document, which is what is rendered in the browser window. H1 is a top-level heading. P is a paragraph of text. A is a hyperlink. The href attribute is the URL to the link points to. Attributes are key value pairs and provide additional information about that element, like href equals, and then double quotes, www.boot.dev. Assignment: create a new repo on GitHub and clone it to your workspace. Okie dokie. What are we going to call this? Create a new repo. What am I going to call this? I guess I'm just going to call this Yeah. Projects, repos, I guess we just call it Python static site. Python static site. A simple static site generator made in Python. Developed during the Module 8 course on, we do at people Boot.dev. Do that. Boot.dev user. So an org thing. User boot.dev. Search all GitHub for boot.dev. Marketplace users boot.dev. Okay. Yeah, just let's clone it. Public, blah blah, doesn't really matter. In fact, I might rename it straight away actually, hold on. Python static site generator. Let's have it with dashes because I think it's better, isn't it? Okay. Then clone it to your workspace. So let's see if everything's set up for that. So ls. There's nothing in here. Okay, I'm gonna have to set up a key on this machine because I've not got one yet. You guys just hang on tight while I do that. What did I name this machine again? I forgot. Charge up to chat, but what's the thing? So let's say I get machine name. Oh. The master token Linux laptop. Actually, hold on. Just realised we're doing this wrong. It's the age-old GitHub generate SSH key. That old chestnut. It's be the most searched page in the whole internet. Okay. Yep. Let's see if see if we run that again. Okay, right, it's back. Right, got it working. Seems you cloned an empty repository. That's no probs. No probs, Bob. Okay, and then what's it saying? So create a new repo, clone it to your workspace. This is the root of your project, huzzah. And then cd. Yep, that one. So then we have to get a nicer CLI than this, but we'll do that at some other point. Add a directory to your project called public and save the HTML above into a file called index.html in public. So copy that. Okay, so n public / index.html, and insert cast2. No, not like that. Escape. Right, quit. Oh. Is it hash sudo? Right, quit like that. Whoops. Oh no. Right, quit. Quit. Ah, how did I get out? mvm sudo. Whoops, sudo right and quit. I don't know this level of mastery yet. Hold on. How does the write with sudo trick work? Okay, so it's do that. So what was it? Sudo t percentage. Crap. No rights in /change, no rights in. Essentially means the current file. Terminal is required to read the password. Either use the S option to use stand input or configure passkey helper. Password is required. Crap, how do I just get out? Like, quit. nvim create file. I can't escape. How do I? Whoops. How do I escape? Nvim force quit. So it's going to be quit like that. Okay, so that's slash. So mkdir public touch public index.html, and go back to doing that. I'm going to go back here, not there, get rid of that for now, we have to learn that some other point. Get this, go back, and then it would be insert mode, and then just paste, whoops, paste, no, not like that, paste, right, quit, okay, I've done that. Change the directories to the public directory and use Python's built-in HTTP server to serve the following contents for the thing. So public, and then they want you to run this command. Oh, hold on, don't need that. Python 3, have I got Python 3? I have. Open your browser at the endpoint of this. Yep, it's working. Put that there. So we're going to submit the CLI thing. Can I quit that before I do that? So do that. No, I have to have it. So I have to have a separate process. Okay, tmux. I haven't got started with tmux yet, so I'm not going to faff around with sort of figuring it out in this session. I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to run that again. Yep. So if we run it back, oh, happy days. That's the first bit. Cool. We're making progress, guys. It's slow, but we're making progress. Progress every day, a little bit each day. Right, CSS. So Cascade Style Sheets is another, not really a programming language that styles HTML elements. It's a way to dress up your HTML colors, fonts, responsive layouts, animations, etc. Make all the HTML elements red. Or maybe you want the max width of your paragraphs to be at most 50% of the screen width. Make all paragraph HTML elements 50% of the screen width. Assignment: copy and paste the following CSS into a file called styles.css in the public directory. Then link the CSS styles filing your index file by adding a link tag to the head section. Simple enough. So touch. Where am I at the minute? Oh, hold on. Where are we? Yep, so cd to public. La-di-da. Then we want to basically just touch styles.css. Okay. Styles.css. Insert, paste, quit, and then we want to edit the index. So we're going to here. And we want to add this link. So link is URL equals style sheets, and then href is styles/styles.css. Like that. Okay, and then we reload this. What's it look like? Not much different, to be honest. You can kill your server and restart it. Do I have to kill it and restart it? Oh, everything is tiny. Yep, that's there. Okay. This is going to test it for us anyway, so we'll find out in a second. So on that, so we're going to do this. Huzzah! So, Markdown. Might actually get through this faster than I expected. Maybe 2 sessions of this. We'll crack it out. So Markdown. So writing HTML by hand sucks, even if you're a grubby front-end programmer. What are you trying to say about me? You probably my hands a clean look. Yeah, beautifully clean look. See, lovely. You probably don't want to write entire documents of raw HTML. Writing Markdown is pure bliss. Markdown is a less verbose markup language designed for ease of writing. The trouble is web browsers don't understand Markdown. They only understand HTML and CSS. The number one job of static site is to convert Markdown into HTML. Instead of writing a verbose HTML list, we can write this in Markdown. Our static site generator will take a directory of Markdown files, one for each web page, and build a directory of HTML files because we're not savages. We'll also include a single CSS file to style the site. Bloop is more enjoyable to write bloop. It is structured for browsers to pass. Markdown is more enjoyable to write, and HTML structured for browsers to pass. Cheat sheet. This cheat sheet provides a quick reference for all HTML Markdown syntax you'll need to complete this project. Feel free to put Marcus' page open in another tab so you can come back to it as you work on this project. Yeah. Let's close these because, yeah, just making things complicated. Feel free to put nice blah, 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 blah. HTML headings, yeah, so I already know kind of all this. Markdown, guide.org, HTML reference guide, Discord, GitHub, and ChatGPT all support Markdown messages. When you use Markdown on those platforms, it will render beautifully. So H1 to H6 is just done with pound signs or hashtags, whatever you want to call them. Paragraph is just a paragraph with a thing of text in between. Bolds are highlighted with asterisks. Italics is highlighted with underscores. This italic and this italic both work in Markdown, but we use underscore italic for the project. HTML links are just square brackets followed by circular brackets, and then the same for images, except the part in the round parentheses is always the URL. So whether it's the link or whether it's the URL of the image, the first part is then either the alt text or the link text, and then having an exclamation mark in front of it turns it into a image. Markdown order list is just dashes with spaces. HTML order list is like 1 dots. HTML quotes is just got an angle bracket in front of it. Code has got a triple ticks top and bottom. 2 pairs of asterisks surrounding a phrase in Markdown equates to 1 HTML. It is bold. Oh wait, yeah, 2 pairs of asterisks is bold. What's the difference between a normal link in Markdown and an embedded image? The link, an image starts with the exclamation mark, and the text in square brackets is the alt image. The image starts with the exclamation mark, and the text in the parentheses is the anchor text. That one. Trying to catch you, gotta get you out. Not today. Okay. I need Tmux at some point, but look at that another day. Play around. I also need to adjust the font size of the whole of everything, because I wish this was a bit bigger so you guys could see a little bit better as well. Architecture, we'll dive into code in the next chapter, but first I wanted to give you a high level architecture for our static site generator. So static assets like images and CSS go in the static folder. source, so our Python code, the generator itself creates the stuff in the public directory. So it starts from content, everything in the content folder, and then template.html. And then this is bibbidi booped into the public folder, the output directory with the final HTML and CSS, Python 3 source main.py. And then the file server, Python 3 -m http.server 8888 serves the public files so the browser can access them. Browser renders the HTML and CSS as a web page. The flow of the data through the system is Markdown files are in the content directory and a template HTML file is in the root of the project. The static site generator, the Python code in the source, reads the Markdown files and the template file. The generator converts the Markdown files into a final HTML file for each page and writes them to the public directory. We start the built-in Python HTTP server, a separate program unrelated to the generator, to serve the contents of the public directory on the localhost. We open a browser and navigate to that, view the rendered site. How the static site generation works. The vast majority of our coding will happen in the source directory because almost all the work is done in steps 2 and 3 above. Here's a rough outline of what the final program will do when it runs. Delete everything in the public directory, copy any static assets, HTML template, images, CSS to the public directory, generate a HTML file for each Markdown file in the /content directory. For each Markdown file, open the file and read its contents, split the Markdown into blocks, e.g. paragraphs, headings, lists, convert each block into a tree of HTML node objects. For inline elements like bold text, links, etc., we'll convert raw Markdown, text node, HTML node. Convert each, split the Markdown into blocks, paragraph, headings, lists. Convert each block into a tree of HTML node objects. For inline elements like bold text, links, we'll convert raw Markdown text node to HTML node. Join all the HTML node blocks under one large parent HTML node for the pages. Use a recursive toHTML method to convert the HTML node and all its nested nodes to a giant string and inject it into the HTML template. Write the full HTML string to a file for that page in the public directory. How we're going to build it. We're not going to build the program in the same order that it runs. That's often not the best way to build large projects. Instead, we'll tackle individual problems that we know we'll need to solve and use unit tests to make sure they work as expected. Then we'll put the pieces together into a working program as we get closer to the end. You don't need to memorize the information on this page, but come back to review if you ever feel lost in the details. Okay. So what should you do with this lesson? Remember to come back and review it as you build the project for you decide the big picture, memorize everything. There's going to be a proctored exam. First option. Boom. So, we're on to chapter 2. Notes. In fact, I feel like I might split this out into like that. So 3 is now running the thing, 2 is our editor, and then 1 is this. And that's much nicer to deal with. Got an hour and a half left. We're going to need a way to represent all the different types of inline text. We're going to be passing Markdown text and outputting it to HTML. So we need an intermediate representation of the text in our code. When I say inline, I just mean text that is part of a larger block of text. For us, this includes normal text, bold text, italic text, code text, links in this format, images in this format. Everything else we're considering block level, like headings, paragraphs, bullet lists. We'll handle those later. Assignment: create a simple main .sh. I think it means main.py. Oh wait, no, you just mean main.sh thing. So create a simple main.sh shell script in the root of the project. This will convenient way to run our code. It should contain this. Let's go back to here. So cd that. Nothing here. So then what we're going to do, we're going to touch source main dot no. So touch main dot sh. So m dot main. Oops. Okay. So we've done that. Create a source directory with the main.py Python file. This is where we'll write our Python code. Make it print hello world and make sure that running main script file runs the hello world printer. Okay. Yep. So touch source. What was it? Main. Oops. Getting used to the keyboard. Main.py. Py. We'll go away, whatever this is. Touch main.py. Whoops. Okay, there. Source. Touch. And then n source main py insert that. Oh, hold on. Oh, we just wanted it to print. Hold on. Oh, permission denied. What's the typical sort of demand? So like a chmod make executable, I forget. Sudo chmod plus x. Plus x main. Okay. Huzzah. Okay, create a git ignore file in the root project should contain that. So pycache. Yep, so n dot git ignore and then insert, paste that. And that again, still fine. Okie dokie. This will prevent the auto-generated pycache directories from being committed to Git. Finally, create a source text node py file and read on to see what it should contain. Okay, so n source text node.py text node.py. Okay. In text node.py, create an enum type called text type. It should cover all the types for text nodes mentioned above. Here's an example of how you create an enum. What enum? Class called text node, show 3 properties. Okay. Just take an example of that. I've forgotten how enums work right off the bat. So insert, then we paste that. We're going to call this Where's it again? Text node. My shift thing not work? Text node. It should have 3 properties it can train. Class called text node. It should have 3 properties that can be set in the constructor. Text node, text type enum. Hold on. So it's going to be different. It's going to be text type enum, and it's going to be text. It should cover all the types of text nodes mentioned above. Text nodes. So I take that as a normal text, normal score text, bold text, bold underscore text, bold underscore text. What else we got? Bold text, italic text, italic underscore text, code text, so code underscore text equals code text. What else? Links in this format, so link text equals link text. Images. We'll find out if these images. That's text type. I'll just put normal. Oh, why do I need to put like normal text? So let's put normal. Shorter. They're all text types. So why am I doing that? Just silly. Code links image equals image. I'm not going to try and do any Vim stuff. I don't know any yet. Sure, it could go a lot faster with macros, but I don't have that power yet. Okay, so we've got text type enum. Okay, I think that's right. So then in text node py, create a class called text node. Lord knows if I remember the syntax for Python. Class. I will remember at some point, I promise. Just not today. Class define init. Okay. do this properly. So text node should have 3 properties you can set in the structure. So it's going to be called text node colon. And then what was it's going to be self underscore construct. Is it define init? Right, okay. Self and then the parameters. Okay. Still trying to remember all the syntax for Python. So define init underscore and then everything here. And it's going to be self. And then what are the other things? Text type, URL. So text underscore type underscore URL. And then it's going to be self dot text equals text, like that, right? The text of the content node, self dot text type, the type of text this node contains, which is a member of the text type enum. Self.url, the URL of the link or image. If the text is a link, default to none if nothing is passed in. Okay. So self.text underscore type equals text underscore type. And then self.url equals URL. Okay, I think that is it for that bit. Then create an what's this method? Oh no. I did open a new tab, thank goodness. What is this? These are so-called rich comparison methods. The correspondence between operator symbols and method names are as follows. Right, I see. Okay, so equal right equals that. A rich comparison method may return singleton not employed. Blah blah blah. Okay, but it takes a self and takes an other. Okay. Create that method returns true if all properties of 2 text node objects are equal. Our future unit tests will rely on this method to compare objects. How does it use that? Documentation is not helpful in the slightest. So define a underscore equal. It's going to be self and then other. And why is it? So then create a method that returns true if all properties of 2 text node objects are equal. Our future unit tests will rely on this method to compare the objects. All properties of text nodes. Okay. So if self dot text is equal to other dot text and self dot text underscore type, I think this is going to be like long-winded, but we'll figure it out, is equal to other dot text underscore type and self dot URL is equal to other dot URL. Then return true. Whoops. True. Right, and then I guess imagine just like false else return false. I think that's that. Create a method that returns the string representation of the text node object. It should look like this. Should create a, wait, what does this do? Repr. So called by the repr built-in function. Return a string containing a printable representation of an object. Okay. If all possible, this should look like a valid. Right, okay. How do I do that? So it returns a string representation of the text node object. Should look something like this. Text node. Text type URL. I'm able to use .value on the text type field to get the string representation of the enum. So define, what is it, repr, and it just takes self. I'm not sure about this one, to be honest. Repr returns a string representation of text and object should look like this. I guess return f string self dot, what is it like? Self dot, whoops, self dot text. Guess self dot text underscore type and then I'm kind of guessing a little bit here. Self dot URL. I copy to my clipboard. Yeah, nothing useful. Okay. Create a main function in main.py and call it. The function could create a new text node object with some dummy values. For example, and make sure it looks like where you expect. For example, my code printed like that. So m source main. You can delete the files from the public directory, they aren't needed anymore. Okay, what's the Python main function? Can't remember exactly what it is. Just define main. You don't need to call it. So define main, and then it's just going to be we'll have to import as well. Import text node from. Can't remember the thing for it. Text node, something like that. And then print like this. Don't know, I'm just again not super comfortable again with what's the Python import, I forget. Get the syntax. From, oh, it's the other way around. Whoops. Oh no, what's the problem? Python import local module. Don't need the quotes. Missing parentheses in call to print. Do you mean print? Yeah, I guess I did. Oh no, perhaps I forgot a comma. Alright, we're figuring this out. We're getting it slowly. Slash source. Yeah, okay, it's because it's going to be text node like that. No module name text node. Text node. Do I have to export it? Python export class. Oh, I got it backwards. Dummy text node from it's going to be just text node. Text node. Yep. I forgot the thing. So text node. Forgot the colon. Whoopsie daisy, my bad. Yeah. Runs, but it didn't do anything. Let's see what this does if I run it. Hold on, RSRF public. Expecting code 0. What did I get? So expect code 0, command exit code 0, stand out. Expecting code container wall. How do I know if it passed or not? It didn't really do anything. I that's the slash. That's the slash. Source. Have I done that right? I can't really tell. Create a main function, call it. The function should create a new text node object with some dummy values. Print the object and make sure it looks like you expect. For example, my code printed that. So my code did not do that. I'm not really sure. If I try and submit this, I think it's going to fail, but might as well try and submit, just see if I'm on the right track. Right. And I should know that because when I tried to run main, it didn't do anything. Why did not print anything? Space because expect standing out to contain all of that, so there's something wrong with what I'm doing in the source main. I suppose maybe is it the problem I don't need to actually print this. No. I think this probably is one part that's wrong. So north nvim text node. I know that something here is not right. When it said create a wrapper method returns a string representation of the text node object should look like this. Let me read what this says a bit more. Building function to compute the official string representation of an object. If at all possible, this should look like a valid Python expression that you could use to recreate an object with the same value given an appropriate environment. If this is not possible, string for the form, blah, 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 blah. Just look up, so Python wrapper. Let's have a look what other people say. Whatever. Return wrapper. Yeah, I had that problem. In Python, if you want to use code from one file and another, you need to import it from, import, yep. Okay, that's not what we need help with. Create a small main function in the to call it. The function should create a new text node object with the dummy values. Print the object to make sure it looks like. Okay, right. I think I'm missing a thing here. So n source main yeah, so we have a new text node, so we're going to be like example equals that, and then we're basically going to do example dot or do we do the repr on the thing? So do we do repr and then example? Is it like that? Nope. Hold on. I feel like I'm missing something here. So like the this. So create a repr method takes a string representation called by the repr building function to compute the official string. All right. I got to print it. Maybe that's why it doesn't print by itself. Okay. Try that. So print. Oh, come on. Hold on, is it just... Hold on. Print. Howdy. Python main function. Is it just I've got the setup wrong? I need to call main or something like that. I think I do. I suppose that's maybe what I'm missing. Just call it at the end. Just missing the boilerplate stuff. Almost. So we've got some stuff to do. First, let's get rid of the howdy-do. And then there's some tweaks I need to make to source. I need something to jump around files a little bit faster than this, but we'll get there. Was text node, py. Yep, so I realized like for this you don't need the pound sign. Type dot value. Run it. Oops. Main. Ah no. There's no. Prime, if you're out there, I know it's making you really hurt, but I'm not fast enough yet. So insert text node. Is this right? Let's have a little bobbing at it. Okay, boom, did it. I was really scraping the barrel on that one. Really sort of struggling with what I was asking. This wasn't the most sort of clear thing to explain. It's like you want to see this string, but how do you get this? It feels a little bit weird that it just plugged in stuff like that, but what it says was right, so we'll carry on. In fact, if it doesn't ask to sort of like do a git commit at some point, I'll probably do it in this one. So L1 text node done. Yeah, I'm going to do that now actually. So git status git hold on, lazy git. Hold on. Whoops, I forgot what the what was the thing again? Lazy git. Let's see, G. Whoops. Lazy git. Oh no. Lazy git's not installed properly. Crap. So git. Git. Wait, what? Sure, because I've got git commit. GCM. And then what is this? So chapter 2 ch2. Don't have to have a specific commit history, do we now? ch2 nodes L1 to nodes L1. What was it? Text node. Oh, I'm not set my global things. Hold on, you ain't going to see this for a second. Let me do this. My username, Liam Walsh Tech. That's my global username, and my global email is. I ain't telling you what it is. I got it back now. Here we go. So git commit git commit -a -m git command shortcut. Hold on, git commit and add one command. Git commit help shay. Tell the command to automatically stage files that have been modified and deleted, but new files you have not told Git about are not affected. Okay, so okay. Let's check this. Yep, it is what it is. It's just basic at the minute, so that's lesson 1 done. So maybe this will take a little bit longer, but we shall see. So next we're going to be going text node tests. So So unit tests are a way to verify that code you write works as expected. In other Boot.dev courses, you write code that passes the unit tests we provide. As a developer, you'll be expected to write your own tests to ensure that individual pieces of your code units works as expected. It can feel like a lot of extra work. Write unit tests or draw 25. But it's often worth it, especially if the logic of test is particularly complex while simultaneously easy to test. It doesn't rely on external stuff like files or the network. Once you have some good tests, you can run them whenever you make changes to ensure you didn't break anything. Create a new script in the root of the project called test.sh. This will be a convenient way to run our tests, which should contain this. Okay? So, what was it going to be called? Test.sh, test.sh. And then, I guess, insert, paste. Okay, so then we can just do test.sh. I've got the thing, so chmod plus x test. That doesn't do anything in a minute, no test ran. Okay, done that. So this command tells Python to use the standard library's unit test module to run all the tests. Run all the tests. Discover. It can find in the source directory. create a test underscore text node.py in the source directory. This is where I write our test for the text unit code. Here's a file with a single test. So n source, and then what's going to be called test underscore text node.py, and then insert, paste, and then we run that. Failed to test. That's fine. Whoops. So create test node, blah, blah, blah. This is where we're going to test single test like that. This test, so test text node. Okay. So import unit test from text node, import text node and text type. Class test text node, unit test dot test case. Define test equals self. So that doesn't really matter. It could be anything for that. Self node. This test creates two text node objects with the same properties and asserts that they are equal. Notice the missing URL argument, which should have a default value of none. If you run your test, test.sh, you see that the test passes. Add some test cases by adding. It didn't pass for me, so required positional argument. Back in our thing, did we say it could be optional text node? Let's go back. Say default to none if nothing is passing. Okay, I missed that detail before. That's fair enough. And the source text node. I forget what the thing of it now is. Is it just something like equals none, like that? Run thing again. Passed, right? Okay, that was it. Add some test cases by adding methods to the text node class to verify that text node class works as expected. You can use the following methods to compare objects. So self.assert equal. If the inputs are equal, the test passes. Self.assert not equal. If the inputs are not equal, the test if the inputs are not equal, the test passes. Add some test case by adding methods to the test. As expected, you can use the following methods to compare objects. Self.assert. Right, okay. Bring up this. Hold on. So I guess if we are defining new things, so define, what's this one to be called? Assert equal if the inputs are equal. You can use the following methods to compare the objects. Add some test cases by adding the test methods to verify that text node class was expected. You can use following methods to compare objects: assert equal, assert not equal. So we've done that one. So we do test score not equal self, and it's going to be basically the same as the above. I don't know how to copy and paste yet in Vib. Please don't yell at me. Copy. And then what was the thing? It's saying assert not equal. Assert not equal. This is a text node. This is also a text node. We'll put two things italic. And we'll put in a URL as well. So like not equal.com. And then we run it. The two test pass. So we'll do that. Add test coverage. We noticed it worked anyway, but we run it to test like that. Yep. So then we do the same, just put a submit on the end. Happy days. Oof. We're getting there. This is a tricky little project. How long have we got? 38 minutes. Minutes again. Right. Okay. So HTML node. Next, we need a way to represent HTML nodes. Our text node class represents the various types of inline text that can exist in HTML and Markdown. Our HTML node class will represent a node in an HTML document tree, like a p tag and its contents, or an a tag and its contents. It can be block level or inline and designed to only output HTML. Create a new file called HTML node py in the source directory and define a class called HTML in it. Okay, so and source, and what was it? HTML node.py. And then define a class within it. So I'm going to try and do this out of memory again. So it's just a thing of class HTML node, and it's something like self. What else did it take? Actually, no, hold on. The syntax is not that. It's like just like that, and then define the init function, and then give it self. Self. What else do we give it? Should have 4 data members set in the constructor: tag, value, children. So one thing at a time. So I think I've done that. Don't think I balls that up somehow. The HTML node class should have 4 data members set in the constructor. Tag, a string representation of the HTML tag name. Value, a string representation of the string representing the value HTML tag, the text inside the paragraph. Children, a list of HTML node objects representing the children of this node. Props, a dictionary of key value pairs representing the attributes of the HTML tag. For example, a link, a tag might have a, okay, all right, so what was it? Tag, value, children, props. So tag, value, value, children, props. It's going to be a thing statement for each. So it's going to be self dot tag equals tag. Whoops. Self dot value equals value. Self dot children. Children equals children. Self dot props equals props. Yeah, so here's what it is. Perhaps counterintuitively, every data member should be optional and default to none. A HTML node without a tag will just render it as raw text. A HTML node without value will just be assumed to have children. A HTML node without children will be assumed to have a value. A HTML node without props will simply won't have any attributes. Okay, so everything defaulted to none. So equals none. Equals none. Equals none. equals none. Okay. I think I've done that. Add a to HTML self method, but now it should just raise not implemented error. Okay, so what was it? To HTML2. Let's go HTML. Self raise, so it's raise implementation error like that. I think that's kind of it. What else do we need? Correct things along the way. So add a props to HTML method. It should return a string that represents the HTML attributes of the node. For example, self.props is that. Okay. So props HTML. So do that. So define props underscore to underscore HTML. It's going to take self, and it's going to return. Okay. So I guess we're going to have so something like props underscore string equals blank. And then what we're going to do is we're going to loop through. So for what do you call it? Prop in self.props, and we do like props string plus equals, what would it be? I guess think about this one a bit. F string. They want, I guess it's going to be prop dot. What would it be? I guess I have to split out as like key, key value. If it works like that, so it's going to be key equals double quotes again. Might have to escape them, I'm not sure. Then it's going to be value. Can I put this in single quotes? We'll see. Yeah, and then maybe return props. Whoops. Props. Let's go string. We'll see if that works, I guess, when we submit a test for it. I feel like my brain is struggling with this now. So then we're going to add, notice the leading space character before href and before target. This is important. HTML attributes always separate by spaces. That's no probs. Suppose we could, it's probably an easy way to turn like a list, like a dictionary into a string. Hold on, Python dictionary, oops, to string. We'll figure it out. There's probably a more eloquent way. Oh, in fact, I just realised when we submitted the test before. Let's have a look what they put. Let's have a look what they put in here. We already passed it, so if we do solutions, it won't penalise us. Yep, same thing there. Okay, so he did the same as us. Yeah. Okay, that was pretty much like what we did. So yeah, I guess like when we finish this one, I'll look at solution files to see how similar we are, or if we're like way off, like, you know, in terms of like doing things nicely. So we're gonna add a represent method. Give yourself a way to print HTML node object. Add a represent. Give yourself a way to print an HTML node object and see its tag, but it's useful for your debugging. So I guess we can kind of do the same things what we've done for text node. So like we do source text node. I could do this again, I guess. Except it's going to be HTML node. HTML node. It's going to be tag. So it's going to be a tag. Value. Children. Self dot props. Not sure how well it's going to be, so create some tests for HTML node class. I used a new file called that. Yeah, I'll just do the same. Touch that, and then create a few nodes and make sure to call the props to HTML method works as expected. So I guess if we take source test underscore text node like that, just copy that for now, and then node source test underscore, what was it, HTML node. So insert, paste that, and we're going to change things. It's going to be HTML node, HTML node. HTML node, test case, test equal, hold on, create some tests to HTML node. I used a file called to create a few nodes that make sure props to HTML works as expected. So let's start with just one test for now. How do I delete a line? Okay, getting the hang of it. So I guess, and then node, it's going to be HTML node, HTML node, that one, and this is going to be tag. So I guess I'm going to start with tag h1. Value is going to be Google. Oops. And the next part was children. what does children look like? A list of HTML node objects representing the children of this node, and a props dictionary like that. So go back to that one, and then this. Like that. And I suppose for now we can just put an empty list, just see what it does. So then we can do run the tests. So we do test, was it? Ran 3 tests in blah blah. Okay, we made a dum-dum in the HTML node one. We had to make the dum-dum. Yep, right there. That's fine, that's what it's there for. 3 tests ran, failed 1. So node 2 is not defined. What do you mean by node? Whoops, I'll have to test thing in. Hold on. Source test HTML node. What do you do? So I guess cert equals node. Bye. Right, I want to call the props to HTML method. Yep. Okay, so this is going to be node dot props underscore 2 underscore HTML. That equals whoops is going to be HTML node. It's going to be like that. Okay, so HTML node tag is going to be h1 whoops. What if I do then? Sweet Mary and Joseph. H1 Google children's whoops. Children's going to be like that, and then self props is going to be. No, I keep forgetting I can't do selecting in this. I'm just going to put this for now and just get the test to run and just see what it does. Test. Key value, yeah, so I didn't think it'd be that simple to just sort of loop over. So Python loop over dictionary. Yes, I googled this before. No wonder. For key value. Right, okay, the items thing. Right, I gotcha. So n source. What is it? HTML node py. values. Oh, items. Whoops. Dummy. Oh, I'm inserting the wrong thing. What am I doing? Big dummy. I need to compare the whole thing. What am I doing? It's going to be like this. So it's going to be href equals. I suppose just put this in single quotes. Href is going to be https colon slash www.google.com, and then it's going to have a space, and it's going to be target equals just underscore blank. Is that one test pass? It does pass. Huzzah. I'm gonna not write any more tests for now. I'm just gonna think of this and just see what it does when I run it. They don't equal each other because there's an extra thing at the end. That's why. I could do it in a more thingy way. So props. So we do props list, and then just do like that. Then I could do this dot. Suppose I could do like dot append like that, and then return props. And then how do I do thing again? So Python list to string. I keep forgetting this one. Join. Okay. Right. So then we do props. So then we do open thing dot join. Join it by spaces. Props. Let's call this like that. Run the test again. It passed. Okay. So if we run that, pass expected. If we run that, it's all run. Yeah. So that'll do it for tonight, really, I guess. Coming up to near the end. Anyway. I'll have a look at the next bit, but I'm not going to sort of think too much if it's going to be a hassle. So history. git status, git add all, git cam, so this was chapter 2. Oh, dang it, I didn't realize I didn't add the tests. Chapter 2, nodes, lesson 1 and 2, lesson 2 and L2. And what it was test node tests, text node tests, text node test, and HTML node, and HTML node. I need to get better at doing this. Git status, git push. Okay, woo, got past that one. So then, let's go next. Like, hold on, definitely. Right, what do they do? Do they do something a little different in this one? So look, so they added this one. No implementation of that yet. I think I kind of did that. Self.props is non-return empty. I should probably put that in, to be fair. Props HTML string. So prop in self.props, props HTML is f prop. Self.props. Prop equals self.props prop. Oh, okay, that's an interesting way to do it. Then props HTML. And then they just did the same thing as what I did. And their tests. Might just nab their tests just to make it nice. Just have more coverage. And we know what, we'll sort this out for next time. So get add all. I'm just going to say git commit shamelessly stolen from the what is it, the solution file, the solution files, but after I already solved mine. Wink. Nah, no wink. And then we'll fix it up next time. But for now, that was a bit of a thing, so it's going to take us a little bit longer to get through than I probably imagined, unless this is going to be the most difficult part, but who knows in these things. But to be honest, for tonight, that will do. Yeah, I don't really want to kind of like do too much more tonight, so we'll kind of call it a day, and shut down, oops, shut down now. Yeah, so that'll be it. that'll do it for today. Thanks for joining in, guys. If you had fun, let us know in the chat. Send us a message. I will be on again tomorrow night, same time, and basically just kind of going through more of it. Probably get through a decent amount because there was some setup there tonight and stuff. So, and I'll have more time sort of available tomorrow night as well. So, thanks for coming down. If you had fun, let us know in the chat. Join us tomorrow again. We'll go through more. We're back from the future. Thanks for coming back and seeing us. You have to let us know where you got that time machine from, and